Let's take you live to ground zero to Adelaide. Joining us, one half of the Border Gavaskar Trophy in Sunil Gavaskar. Sunny bhai, let's start with the Indian batting. I know it's the pink ball test match, but at the moment, Indian batting not quite looking in the pink of its health. How do you sum up India's batting performance first?
A couple of opportunities. Your bowlers get the new ball, the brand new ball in which to strike. Then if there's a partnership, there is still some more runs you have in the bank. So I think 250, 270 is generally a score where the teams can fight. But as we saw in Perth, even a score of 150 was good enough for the Indians to get a small lead of 46 runs. So clearly, I think this Indian team is capable of striking back. All that they need to do is bowl a better length than what they did in the evening today. And if they get 4 wickets, including that of Steve Smith and Travis Head, in the first session tomorrow, then India can pretty much come back. They might not be able to get a big lead, and they might concede a small lead, but I think that will mean that they'll still be in the game.
Uh, with the conditions in mind, Sahibhai, we know that the pink ball does a lot. Also, to begin with, there were overcast conditions. We've seen 6 mm of grass there as well. Keeping the conditions in mind, do you think India were at par with their batting, or do you think that they were slightly below par?
I think it was excellent bowling by Mitchell Starc. More than anything else, I know the Indian batting is something that we are all very proud of. We look forward to the Indian batting, but I think you also got to give credit to Mitchell Starc for the way he bowled. In the last maybe a few years, he hasn't really regularly bowled the ball that swings the natural outswing of a left-hander. But we saw that in the IPL final when he got rid of Abhishek Sharma with a beauty of a delivery. And this is exactly what he was getting today. Maybe it is the pink ball which is the reason. But he got Jaiswal out with one delivery like that. Then the way he got Ashwin out, and the way he got Nitish Rana out, Harshit Rana out, was all because of the way that ball was swinging in. Then, of course, the one where he dug it in just a little bit short, recognizing that both Rahul and Kohli like to get onto the front foot. Those were also very, very clever deliveries. So I think we've got to give credit to Mitchell Starc as well.
The one thing that was noticeable when you're going to be comparing Mitchell Starc's bowling to the Indian bowling lineup, in fact, Boland, I'll add alongside Starc, that they were really pitching it up. Most of the dismissal, look at the Jaiswal dismissal, look at the Gill dismissal, from there on a few tail-enders in Harshit Rana, Ashwin, all of them with the ball pitched up, and the shot of the length ball was the surprise delivery. The Indian bowlers must have seen that, yet were not following the same template. What do you think could be the reason behind that?
I think a little bit of excitement, because you don't get to bowl in India on pitches where the ball is traveling through so quickly and nicely to the wicket keeper. So sometimes, with that excitement, you tend to bowl a little bit shorter than what is ideal, where you want to draw the batsman forward, because what happens is the more you draw the batsman forward and the more the ball is just a little bit short of length, it's very difficult for the batter to change his shot, as we saw with the Rahul and Kohli dismissal. So that is where I think India need to work tomorrow. Whatever has happened today, forget it. But learn, sit down with the computer guy, see the lengths that you bowled, see the lengths that the Australian bowled, and you will find that you're probably a foot and a half shorter than the ideal length. If they do that tomorrow and they get those 4 wickets, which I'm saying, then India can still get back into the game.
Saiba, 69 for 1, India were, with that partnership developing between Shubman Gill, KL Rahul, and from there on we see a bit of a cluster collapse. You think that was the turning point of the day?
Of course, definitely. I think when you've got to start like 69 for 1, then you lose 3 wickets within 16 deliveries. That is obviously going to be a session that was Australian. Because till then, the session was India, 69 for 1. Yes, we lost the wicket of the first ball, but then the recovery by both Shubman Gill and KL Rahul was a very good recovery. They played very sensibly, didn't get tempted up to deliveries outside the off stump, made the bowlers bowl to where they wanted, work the runs on the onside, and then drove to the offside very, very nicely. So clearly, I think that's 1 wicket. And that is exactly what India has to look at. 1 can get you 2, 1 can get you 3. And that is the kind of thinking India should have when they resume play tomorrow.
Just looking back at the start of the game, Saima, and 2 things I'm going to look at. One, of course, the decision at the toss, as well as the playing 11. In hindsight, batting first was the right way to go, or do you think the conditions got better when Australia were batting in their first innings?
The conditions got a little bit better, definitely, because in the morning in the afternoon there was a little bit of overcast conditions, not like overcast like you find in England, dark clouds. No, it wasn't like that. But any team that wins the toss opts to bat first, because you do not want to bat in the twilight. That is what people say. Okay, now what is happening over here in Adelaide is that the sun is setting about 8 or 8:30 p.m. or local time. So technically, there's only an hour's play after that. If you bowl your overs in time, maybe an hour and a half play. So that hour and a half play can be a little bit difficult. So that's why any team that wins the toss opts to bat first, despite whatever the grass covering may be on the surface.
A couple of things on the selection matter, Saibhai. Are you in line with the Indian team's decision to continue opening with KL Rahul and Rohit in the middle order, the call that they've taken?
Definitely, yes, absolutely. Any team, any partnership of 200 needs to be maintained, needs to be kept. You don't want to break that partnership at this stage. Also, because Rohit hasn't played much cricket. The last time I think he played, I'm not talking about the PM's 11 where he didn't get runs either. But the last time he played an international game was on the 3rd of November. So from 3rd of November to 6th of December, he hasn't really played much cricket. You can bat as much as you want in the nets. It's never going to be the same as having actual match practice. So it was a good idea for him to bat lower down the order when the ball wouldn't move as much. Unfortunately, when he came after the break, the usual issue with him where his front foot does not really move across as much as after he settles down was once again his undoing.
Two things about the Indian bowling, Saibhai. One, as you mentioned, that they need to get their lengths right. What did you make of the selection of Harshit Rana ahead of an Akashdeep? I understand that Harshit had a good outing. He's more of a hit-the-deck bowler, and probably that was a reason that they went with Harshit in Perth, and the good outing came there. But on this occasion, where we've seen, bowlers who pitch the ball up, who can get some sort of seam movement, tend to do well, would Akashdeep have been a better option?
We will never know that. Or why would you drop somebody who's bowled so well in Perth? He's high on confidence. He's bowled at more than 145 kilometers per hour just about every time. So why would you want to change him, drop him, and shatter his confidence? That despite having bowled well, when he's going to make a comeback, he's going to say, listen, I bowled well, I got so many wickets, but I've been dropped. So no, I don't think there was anything wrong in that.
Today, when the day was coming to an end and there was that stubborn partnership between McSweeney and Labuschagne, all of us sitting, watching it on TV, were hoping that Ashwin gets the ball. Do you think that was a bit delayed? Only comes on right at the death to just bowl one over on the day?
That could be because he was not on the field for a while. He wasn't on the field for a while, and that is the reason why he was not allowed to bowl maybe till the last over of the day. So unless it's an external injury, which is seen by everybody, if you're off the field, then you've got to spend that much time without getting a ball. And I think that could be the reason. Why he was off the field, nobody knows. I think some people tried, but nobody has found out why he was off the field for that longer time.
Just going back onto those dismissals, Haniba, I spoke to you about the turning point, and every time that the ball was pitched up, the bowlers, got dividends. But I'm going to talk about two dismissals, one of KL Rahul, the other of Virat Kohli, not really pitched up deliveries, outside the off stump, take that edge. What do you think caused that? Because I was reading some stats there that Adelaide, surprisingly, compared to all other Australian grounds, tends to have that slightly extra bit of bounce, even when you compare it to Perth as well as the Gabba. I don't know whether that was the reason, or did you see something amiss there for very identical dismissals of both KL Rahul and Virat Kohli?
I think they were really good deliveries. Were difficult for the batters to leave the ball. What is the only thing you could possibly say that because a modern batter is more prone to get onto the front foot, he does not give himself that extra yard of the back foot where he can drop his wrists or leave the ball, and then is forced to play in and looking to leave the ball at the last moment and not being successful. That's the only thing you can say. But I would rather give credit to Mitchell Starc for the way he bowled those two deliveries.
So a few drop catches as well today. Is it, just as we give that benefit of the doubt to the batter in that twilight time and pink ball tough to spot, does it happen with the wicketkeeper in the slips too?
Yes, it does. Not easy. Not easy with the pink ball, because the pink ball, the way it comes at you as well, the speed at which it comes to you sometimes can be misleading. You might have seen so many times the pink ball, after it has passed the batter, move so much, where the byes were given. I think there were three times the ball went past the diving Rishabh Pant for byes. So I think that is what happens with the pink ball. It moves very late. So once it coming to you from behind the stumps after the edge, it might have moved a little bit, which made the catching a little bit difficult.
I also want to talk about Nitish Reddy, Saima, and we'll show our viewers a very interesting story about his rise to international level. But before that, if you had to take a macro look at this Test match, we know Australia are ahead, but are they so far ahead, or do you think there's a lot to be played in this Test match? What does India need to do to bridge that gap and come back on even terms on day 2?
Well, at the moment, I think Australia has probably just got their noses ahead, but not by much. And like I said, India needs to get 4 wickets in the first session tomorrow. They get their first session, they will be on even terms with Australia. And the fact that Australia will be batting in the 4th innings will also be to India's advantage. So clearly, India then obviously need to bat a lot better in the 2nd innings. But the most important thing is to ensure that Australia do not get a lead, or if they get a lead, it is not a huge lead.
Saibhai, still a youngster in the start of his career, playing only his 2nd Test match. What kind of an impression has he left on you?
It's been very impressive, no question about it, because of the way he has read the situation when he's been batting, the way he's adapted to the situation, played according to the situation. That shows that he's got a good cricketing head on his shoulders. And like he said, to get a cap from his hero, from his idol, Virat Kohli, and get cap number 315, it totals 9. All of us, look at 9 as a lucky number. Not all of us. I mean, most of us look at number 9 as a lucky number. So he's got that total of 9 also as his cap. So I think what he needs to do is keep on working hard, not take anything lightly, and remember always, that it's the prayers of his parents and Indian cricket where all good things will happen to him. And that is the reason he's got to be loyal to Indian cricket.
Okay, very interesting. Right, very interesting.
First and foremost, Indian cricket.